Welcome back for another book review. Today we are talking about Thrifty Witchery. I swear I'm hoping this is going to be the last voiceover, but here we are. So, Thrifty Witchery, Magic for the Penny Pinching Practitioner. And honestly, this was just okay. It wasn't that great of a book for me. And honestly, the title was, it kind of was a part of it, but kind of not really. So my thing is, when you have a book title like this, I expect that to be the point of the book, and this was really just another run-of-the-mill beginner book. It tells you the basics, and it does have a slight twist of putting the emphasis on a little bit of thrifting and kind of how to save some money here and there. But really, it was just, it's information we've seen so many times that it's personally, I don't see why you would buy this over books that have been published for 20 years. I think it was one of Deborah Blake's first books was the same topic. Witchcraft on a Shoestring, I want to say is what it was. But it was how to budget witchcraft. And, it's not rocket science to do. There are so many different blogs, videos. I'm sure there's TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, full YouTube videos. There are just so many places that tell you this information that it didn't really add anything to the conversation much. And again, with it being such an emphasis on beginner witchery, it was okay, and it's not bad, but it didn't add anything new to the conversation. It was really something we've seen so many times over. One thing that was interesting is that the two authors who wrote this come from very different worlds. So that did give it a different perspective, but you could easily kind of see when one author was writing versus the other, and their life experience is very different. And the one author is from the streets, homeless, trying to, kind of couch surf and things and slowly build their life up. And the other came from a very privileged background. And to see the two commingle and write this book was interesting. But it does feel a little weird, to be honest, to have a thrifting witchcraft book from somebody who came from what sounds like a decent amount of money for a book on how to save money. That just feels really weird. Personally, I would have preferred to have it from multiple people who are from a similar economic background of how to save money, how they've done their witchery, if you're gonna have it on that topic, and again, not have it just be a basic witchcraft book. It was interesting. There were some things that, again, for the author who was the one, I think his name was Vincent, was the one that, I can't see the thumbnail, but I'm pretty sure that was his name. But the guy who was the poor one, basically, he, was doing spells with just a cigarette and his spit. And it's that is really intriguing. What about witches who just use old coffee grounds and intentions and things like that? Having different perspectives when your budget is zero would be really interesting. But having the other perspective be from somebody who didn't grow up on the poverty line, very obviously, that just, it seemed kind of a weird mix to me. And I feel this could have been a more powerful message if it would have been more people on the same economic standard, because that was the point of the book, was to thrift. And again, because the book really didn't add anything either way, it just, it's a new book. Maybe other people will enjoy it. Maybe you haven't come across the information. But again, I've read other books on this, and most books nowadays, I would say the last 20 to maybe 30 years, most people have moved away from saying you need to have certain tools and you need to have these expensive items. And usually even then, it really only applies in specific covens. For the most part, Wicca, pagan, witch, you're gonna go and figure it out for yourself. Most of them, it's not going to be mandatory that your athame costs a minimum of $100 and it has to be from a specific smith, or you have to figure out how to make it yourself. Most people are going to be when you find one, you find one, or, go to the dollar store or whatever, go find something. Amazon has them for like super cheap. Like it's not as big of a thing anymore, and most places will tell you like you don't need the tools. Like there's kind of been a shift the opposite way. And so I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like I just felt like nothing was added to this conversation that hasn't already circulated so much in the past few years. And with, again, it being most of the book just being your beginner book again, I don't know. And then, like, it just shifted, like, halfway through into spells and stuff without much of a lead up for feeling so much like a beginner book. Like, I don't know. Maybe other people really enjoy this. It just did not hit for me. Like, it was just pretty mediocre. Like, the writing wasn't horrible, but it just didn't add anything. And when you've read a lot of books, eventually you do start to get a little more picky, and you want your books to have a little more depth to them. And again, if you're going to write on a specific topic, I just feel like that should be like the main focus. And we don't need to go through a lot of like side details and, again, making it a beginner book when it doesn't need to be, and it could just really focus on the topic at hand. It's just personal preference, I think. Like, again, it's not terrible. It's been, I don't know, the reviews are kind of all over the place, but it also hasn't been out that long. So we'll see as time goes by which one kind of becomes the reigning supreme with this. Personally, I wouldn't go out and buy this. Like, there was, I think, one page that was, like, mildly intriguing to me, and it was just, like, common household items and their magical uses. And it's like, well, that's kind of cool, because usually when you get your herbalist, it's going to be kind of generic stuff. And so it was nice to not just have that, but at the same time, like, other books have it too. So anyways, that is all I've got to say for this book. I know it's kind of a short one, but it was also kind of a short book. So anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments down below. What were your thoughts? Also, huge thank you to my patrons. Your content will be going up soon, so make sure to check that out. But thank you for your support over there. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully, this will be the last voiceover. Maybe one more day. We shall see. I'm, again, getting settled into the office, so we're getting there. But anywho, once I do, then you'll get to see Office Kitty a lot more. So keep an eye out for her. But anyways, till next time, thank you so much for watching, and blessed be.